We've been hearing about your very insightful discussion in the morning session. We would like to continue and to add more to that conversation in this discussion. Let me start, because you're a veteran in this industry, let me start by asking what do you view and what do you see the current tooling industry in India? How do you see that? What are the challenges? What are the strengths that you see the industry has? And vis-a-vis the global giants in terms of tool rooms that we know, the China, Taiwan, Korea, how do you see them, see Indian tooling industry compared to the global counterparts?
Okay. So I think what I would say is like India tooling industry definitely growing, okay. And I think India tooling industry very fragmented, very fragmented, very small players, and everybody but there's no clear theme if you look at where India tooling industry is going. It's mushrooming, I would say. It's not going, it's mushrooming. Okay, that's how I see it. And also when I compare Indian industry, tooling industry versus China or Europe, like we get a lot of tools done in Europe, and a lot of OEMs in Europe don't want their tool to be done outside Europe. They don't want it. It's like quality is very different. So I think it's like, you can say it's a Porsche. If you look at a tool room, those are the Porsche of the tool rooms. That's how it is, and it really it is. And there is a lot of technology, we talked about manufacturing, it's just one piece of it, but there's a lot of technology in terms of the designing, other capabilities are different. And also by the virtue of, I think, China and Europe, they are also have a lot of European car manufacturers. China has all the car manufacturers, US had a European car manufacturer for so many years. In India they came and went, and didn't stay here. So those people also have experience of their quality. And I would not use the word quality, is a very loose word. I would say the technology. Quality is not quality per se, because we are talking about quality, whether you're making right or wrong, but they're talking about a very different kind of technology, okay? So I think that is not, I would say that's not available to people here. They are not exposed to. So I would not say the fault or any lackness in terms of the tool makers here, but they're not even aware of it, because OEMs are not exposed to them. So if OEMs would expose to them, they will learn it. So those OEMs maybe come in some time, they will do it. And whatever I see is big tool rooms, they are mostly captive tool room. And that's all, most OEMs or some big players have their own tool room, they're surviving. So what I would say is that to industry to grow, there has to be some kind of a pull. So in India, if there are some big tool rooms come in, they can absorb a lot of small tool rooms as well. So small tool rooms can be sub-supplier, tier 2. We don't have tier 2 tool rooms. We have all tier 1 tool rooms, actually. But tier 1 tool rooms have a lot of variety, from medium size to very small size. But they are not talking to each other. So I think we need to have some kind of a classification of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. So they can be supplier to each other versus they supply to the direct end customer, which I would say increases a lot of cost to everybody. For example, there's a big tool room. He takes some parts, let's say, he takes some semi-finished part from other tool room. So other tool room doesn't need to worry about part development, this and that. He gives a drawing, he makes it, job done, okay? So I think he can utilize his manufacturing capability properly, but he doesn't need to put all the infrastructure. So every tool room is doing everything with a lot of inefficiency. Inefficiency is built in. They're not creating inefficiency. So I would look at it right now, when we talk about these things, we always say tool room do this, do that. But I think there's a limitation to which you can do continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is not the solution for everything. You need to look at it beyond a point. I always give an example of like, in a high jump, you cross 2 meters. Pole vault, you do like 6 meters. So even if you try to put extra effort of a high jump guy, he will do maybe 2.1, 2.2. But to do 6 feet, 6 meters or whatever it is, you need that, pole to do that. So I think we need to change the approach in the country, first of all, to create multiple layers, and they should interact with each other. So, and like hybrid. We started to do that. Like, for example, we have a lot of requirement in the tool in Europe. I cannot ship the whole tool from India to Europe. Firstly, logistic cost could be a problem. Again, technology could be a problem. OEM may not like it. So we could do hybrid. I could assemble there, do some parts there. I could do semi-finish in India. So everybody can be, I would say, is fed properly, is fed properly. I think that is something we can do. Otherwise, this is a chicken and egg story. It will keep going on endlessly. what we should do, they should not do. And once you start to take some work, step by step, you will be properly oiled. You will learn. You will interact with those people. You will see those parts. You will understand the meaning of quality or technology, whatever. I think something like this has to happen. And then things can start to grow very, very fast. Don't try to take up a first step as a big step. Okay, I will make the tool. And one thing I was wanted to say also, like in the morning also, I didn't say that maybe, like what tool room should not do is to just get enthusiastic to do export. Export is like a suicidal. Because, we have enough requirement in India. It's not something like we are that of work in India. The moment you do export, something gets rejected, your complete working capital, your capex, everything is lose money. So first of all, do this kind of a thing. I think that's my inputs.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very pertinent point. I think that many tool rooms, medium to small size, are there, all catering or all trying to woo the same kind of customers, same set of customers. So there needs to be, I mean, in terms of the assets that they have, they could be properly utilized to make the most, and all of them can make money. Help me understand how, I mean, in terms of reliability of these assets, because most of these, because they are small, I mean, small scale, small to medium scale, the machining centers or the machines that they have are usually not typically would not be new, would be pre-owned, would not be as maintained. So their downtime and all that. So the predictability or the reliability of these assets, when you as a tool room, let's say you are catering to an OEM or a tier one, how reliable is that infrastructure or back-end infrastructure in India currently, and what could be done to address that issue?
Look, I think we can put the wall like pink everywhere. We can't say everything is like this. Look, I've worked in automotive industry from '92. We made parts in Ludhiana in those days as well. Tool rooms were like homegrown tool rooms. There were no proper tool room. Every supplier had their own small tool room, and the owner only set up the factory because he knew how to make tool. We still make the cards that time. So I think I would not be too worried about that. That people are sensible. The tool owner will know how to do that. I think the point is we need to just mobilize the system. Mobilize the system. And as I said, everybody should not be exposed to the OEM or the end user. That we should not do that. And one thing more you said about the utilization. And we have enough requirement here. I think the problem is everybody is going after marketing, everybody is going after this. It consumes a lot of your resources. And it's not tooling is not a regular business. It's not that every time you get a customer, then every month you will get 2 tools. Sometimes maybe few customers you might have like this, but it's seasonal business. Or somebody makes 1 tool and then you don't need tool for 3 years or 4 years. You don't know. So I think it's not a seasonal business. The amount of efforts what you use to marketing, customer acquisition is very, very high. And that also maybe lead to downtime. And also, you may not have a downtime as a whole, but you may have a downtime of certain machines. Certain machines may be fully occupied. They are very costly machines, but you only have one of them. But all your other machines are not utilized. They may be cheaper, but they're not without cost. So I think we need to really look at balance the system as a whole. If they interact with each other, they will be able to do that. Still, people do that at a local level. Maybe in Ludhiana, you will see, he will send his guy on a cycle to some labor guy, just get milling ke 2 cut lagwa ke la. A grind lagwa ke la. या तरह से हीटर में थोड़ा गर्म करा के ला. That's the language they use. वो साइकिल पे लेके चला जाता है टूल को, ठीक है? So I think that system has to be done in a more methodical manner, and then people will be able to do it. We have enough talent in India. Trust me, I've seen people. I remember in my old days, ये car के अंदर jack होता है ना, जो to replace the tire, you put that jack and to lift the car. There was only one guy, I can name this guy. Hari Bassi was the guy in Ludhiana. मूनलाइट कंपनी का नाम है, लुधियाना में आज भी है वो. पूरे इंडिया में एक ही आदमी था जो वो टूल बना सकता. एंड देयर वर पीपल एट दैट दोज डेज. अब तो में भी बहुत लोग, मैनी पीपल कुड मेक दोज टूल्स, बट दोज डेज देयर वर फ्यू पीपल हु नो हाउ टू डू दोज सर्टेन थिंग्स. सो एक्सपर्टाइज की इशू नहीं है. थिंक हमने उनको बहुत वल्नरेबल, एक तो माइंड जो डिस्कशन भी हो रहा है ना यार, वी आर सेइंग इंडिया वर्सेस दिस वर्सेस, जो है वो अच्छा है. Is good. There's no problem I see. I don't see a problem. I think we need to just utilize that. Okay. Like we have our own tool room in India. We do every tool. we talk about talent, etc. All our tool rooms have enough people to work. There's no problem in that. So one more thing I would say is that हर कुछ रेडीमेड नहीं मिलता लाइफ में, यू नो. हर कोई कि मैं तो कुछ करूंगा नहीं, मेरे लेके आई लर्न वन थिंग, अगर आप एक आदमी उंगली करते हो, 3 उंगली ये और 1 उंगली ऊपर, ये होती है भगवान के ऊपर, ये सामने वाले पे, 3 मेरे पे आती है. हम क्यों वी व्हाट वी ट्राई टू डू, ये इसी उंगली को देखते रहते हैं, ना तो इधर देखते ना इधर देखते. सो आई थिंक व्हाट वी नीड टू रियली लुक एट इज, देखो हम बोले गवर्नमेंट ये कर देगी, वो ये कर देगा, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मेरे को 4 आदमी चाहिए यार, 4 आदमी को 1 महीने ट्रेन कर दूंगा. मुझे ये है कि अगर मेरी कंपनी में बंदा आया तो पहले दिन से प्रोडक्टिव होना चाहिए. मैं अपने 1 महीने के पैसे नहीं दूंगा सैलरीज को. आप देखिए कोई इफ यू गेटिंग ए गाय फॉर एग्जांपल, आई एम टॉकिंग वेरी ग्रास रूट लेवल डिस्कशन है, नो स्ट्रेटेजिक. इफ यू आर हैविंग ए मिलिंग मशीन, टूल रूम की मिलिंग मशीन चला रहा है, बाहर की चला रहा है, मिलिंग मशीन तो मिलिंग मशीन है ना, उसको कट लगाना उतना लगाना है. नाउ आपका टूलिंग के अंदर हो सकता है, टूल रूम में यू माइट हैव अ लिटिल बिट मोर स्पेसिफिक, तो 15 दिन की ट्रेनिंग दे दो उसे. व्हाई डू यू एक्सपेक्ट कि जिस दिन वो घुसे उस दिन उसे कट लगाना आना चाहिए? दैट्स एक्सपेक्टेशन आई थिंक व्हाट वी आर स्ट्रगलिंग विद. अदरवाइज कोई भी टूल रूम में मशीन ऐसी नहीं होती है मोर लेस जो कि बाकी मशीन बाकी इंडस्ट्री में नहीं होती. कोई भी ऐसी यूनिक मशीन नहीं होती है, हर जगह होती है. वो लेथ भी होती है, मिलिंग सेंटर भी होता है, ग्राइंडर होता है, हर जगह होता है ना.
So basically, the tool rooms will have to work with the human resource.
Boss,
it's not
simple है. If you have to survive, you have to do it. Don't try to say others ने नहीं करा इसलिए मैंने नहीं करा, मत grow जाओ. If I have to grow, I will do find my way ना.
Interesting. Coming to Motherson now, I mean, you said that you have, I mean, Motherson for tooling requirements, you have 10 captive tool rooms, and then of course you have other tool rooms.
Can you put the presentation on, please? It's gone.
Yeah. So help. I mean, just help us understand how. So if I understand correctly, the tooling requirement for Motherson as a group is being met by captive tool rooms.
No.
Okay.
Very small.
Very small. But mostly to commercial tool rooms.
Yes.
Okay. And they would be based out of the Indian tool rooms or global as well?
India may be very little, but I think we are more in Europe. We have a lot of tool rooms in Europe, China, Korea.
Okay. And those are because of the global operations or?
Yeah, look, we have 400 plants worldwide. So we have 400 plants. So I think their requirements are all around the world.
Local.
So we cannot, like maybe you can get a tool done in Portugal, which will be not so costly if I look at landed cost from India or anywhere.
Yeah.
Portugal will be quite easy.
Yeah.
Secondly, lot of material, what you need, you buy from Europe, Italy, Europe, Germany से you buy the steel. So पहले मैं India में I bring the steel here and then ship it again. Cost will be very high. What's the point? So what we try to do is finding ways in which the overall landed cost is optimum. It is not about the tooling cost. दूसरा एक चीज़ आप देखिए ना, जो टूलिंग कॉस्ट है, आपकी मशीन तो बाहर से आ रही है इंडिया में, तो उसका डेप्रिसिएशन तो इंडिया में भी उतना नहीं होगा, जर्मनी में भी उतना होगा. आपकी यहाँ सब लोग बोल रहे हैं, सुबह से मैं सुन रहा हूँ एफिशिएंसी नहीं है. तो जो मशीन आ रही है आपकी 2 करोड़ की, वहाँ पे अगर मशीन यूटिलाइजेशन 80% हो रही है, यहाँ अगर 50% हो रही है, तो उसकी मशीन की 2 करोड़ की जगह तो कॉस्ट 3 करोड़ हो गई. तो फ़ायदा क्या हुआ आपका? वो जो किसी ने बोला था ना, वो घिसने के लिए वो एक लेबर कॉस्ट को 50 रुपये बचा लूँगा, उससे कंपेटिटिव नहीं आएगी. So what we need to, we should not overboarding that cost is too less. I think what we need to look at is how do we mobilize the system. So what we do is we use all kind of tool rooms. So we keep onboarding tool rooms around the world on our portals. Okay. जहाँ tool room मिलता है ले लेते हैं.
And is that the genesis of this UniBuild? I mean, because you've been working with tool rooms across the globe and so many, and help us understand, because you talked about that in the morning as well. The concept, it's, if I have to say, it's more like aggregation of demand, aggregation of sourcing, which is basically, I mean, because you aggregate the sourcing requirements and then you can negotiate better. At the same time, aggregation of demand, it's more like a platform that you provide for the tool rooms, and multiple other levers also, logistics costs and all that. So basically, it's the scale at which you're operating, which is giving the advantage to the tool rooms, which are registered on your platform. But help us, I mean, walk us through the journey of this UniBuild. How is this conceptualized, and what problems are you trying to solve through this, and how is the future?
So I think what we look, as I said in the morning also, like right now our company is roughly $24 billion. We were roughly $12 billion 1.5 years back. We acquired 17 companies last 1 year, we had 24. And what we started to realize is like in globally what you see in Europe and US, a lot of companies are getting bankrupt. Tons of companies getting bankrupt. And there is a reason behind it. They're not, every company is struggling their own battle. Their sourcing is not effective. Like any company in India, like 200 crore की इंडिया में वो उसका equivalent 200 million है. 200 million इंडियन करेंसी में 2000 करोड़ होता है, बट उसका स्केल और थॉट प्रोसेस वही है. जहाँ पे 200 करोड़ का वहाँ 200 million का है. So then we started look at, like we are doing our own sourcing for, like I do look after roughly $15 billion of sourcing. 1.25 lakh crore की sourcing. So when we started look at these kind of things, we started to see there is a lot of potential which can be done. How can we not support that system? Okay. So that's how we started Unibuild. So in Unibuild, we are working in 50 countries now, roughly 56, 55 countries we are working. And we are not only providing this tooling, we can support any type of industry whatsoever. It is automotive, non-automotive, aerospace, heavy industry, electronic industry, you name anything. And in this particular thing, we also deal with any commodity. We can buy you a machine also. Like for example, all the tooling guys sitting here, we can help you to buy the machine. All the machine people, what you're seeing outside, they are also my suppliers, one way or the other. So we can also help you to buy the machines. Prices could be different, payment terms could be different, service could be different. So that's one area. Secondly, I can buy the raw material. Not only tooling, I'm talking generally. Okay. Raw material, anybody want to buy steel, copper, whatever it is, I can buy that. Third thing, component. Anybody want to develop any component, any automotive, non-automotive. I'm making casting for molding machines. I'm making castings for robotic arms. So those kind of business also we are getting. And indirect MRO, that's also we are, please switch it. Please put the presentation on. So we are also can supply any indirect material, consumables. Like in the tool rooms, you need cutting tools. I have my own company who make cutting tools. I can supply them cutting tools. Because otherwise you go to different people, you can buy the cutting tools from me, or any coolant you want to buy, or any other gloves, indirect material. So we look at every commodity, every kind of industry around the world. And that's how we start. And one very key premise was, we are not looking at, this portal is also what we developed, the portal in-house. We have our own IT company with 2,000 people. We developed this portal in the record time of 6-7 months. And it's one of the best portal in the whole world. No portal in the world has all these features. Right from customer supplier onboarding to all the things till you get your money, and afterwards is all in the portal. You can order the material, you can send the RFQ, you can get the quotation, you compare the quotation, you can track your money, you can track your logistics, you can track your quality, you can track when the tool was cut, uski photo, video, sab aa jayega usme. Everything is on the portal. And you will be amazed, sab company ke paas SAP वगैरह सब होगा. You can do complete purchasing on mobile phone without SAP. Complete purchasing. आप ऑर्डर कर सकते हो, RFQ भेज सकते हो, सब कुछ कर सकते हो इसके ऊपर. आपको ऑर्डर मैनेजमेंट कर सकते हो. आपकी कंट्रोल टावर जो होती है, सप्लायर का माल कहाँ पे पहुंचा, यू कैन हैव ए कंट्रोल टावर ऑन माय मोबाइल फोन. Everything is on the mobile phone. So we said, people don't, because small companies may not have SAP or any of these things. तो क्या होता है, when you don't have SAP, तो ऐसा लगता है कि आपने मतलब कुछ अपंग हुआ. That's the feeling people give you. अगर आपका SAP नहीं है तो ये people will give you feeling, आप ये भी नहीं कर सकते, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. But in my mobile phone, you can do everything. So we developed that. And other thing what we said, we're not going to charge any money either from the customer or the supplier. Okay. Zero money. Okay. They can, even today if they want right now, unibuild.ai, that's the address, you can register yourself, they do not ask for anything right away. Okay. So you can do that. And the premises, for example, we will provide them markets in 50 countries, minimum. 50, 60 जो भी है, doesn't matter. And I will buy the material for them, whatever material they want to buy. अगर आज की डेट में आप मशीन 1 करोड़ की खरीद रहे हो और आपकी पेमेंट टर्म जो भी है XYZ है, I'll give you an offer which could be better than, total cost will be better than what you buy. आपको जमती है ले लो, नहीं जमती मत लो. There nothing, उसमें ये नहीं है कि मैं आपसे नेगोशिएट करूँगा, नहीं आपको मशीन महंगी लेनी, क्यों लोगे आप महंगी, ना मैं आपको कोई फीस चार्ज कर रहा. And as a company, I don't want to make money out of subscription. ना 100 रुपये सब्सक्रिप्शन लूँगा, एक क्लिक के 200 रुपये लूँगा. I don't want to get into that. Our job is to, we are looking at how can we utilize our knowledge and expertise to the rest of the industry. Na? Beyond a point, you want to do it.
So I think that's a very interesting proposition, as we talked about in the morning as well. But I want to deep dive on one particular aspect, which is basically when you say on-demand manufacturing, if I have to say. So let's say if someone wants to outsource certain elements of the overall manufacturing process,
Yeah.
Which you said that, okay, you will be securing capacities from the tool rooms or from whatever the machining centers, and then based on that, then you can put it on your platform, and then that capacity could be allocated to someone who wants that.
No, no, it's not like this.
Okay.
The point is, one thing you need to understand is, I am not a marriage.com. I'm not putting a portal to customer and supplier comes together.
Okay.
That doesn't work.
Okay.
We studied all the portals in the world. They are in losses. Because, जैसे if you go to marriage.com, नीचे लिखा होता है, they are not responsible for anything, right? But marriage में तो चल जाता है. It's your, luck. But manufacturing में नहीं चलता. Because manufacturing में पैसा investment होती है, shareholder होता है. यहाँ you need a trust. तो उसमें what we want to do is we don't want to say कि ये हमारा supplier हमने portal में you come and buy from him, it will not work. आप इतने fair होते हैं world wide, कितना business होता है unfair में से, कुछ नहीं होता.
So, but if I am a tool room and suppose I want to outsource my heat treatment process, how do I leverage your platform?
Yes. So what we do, you tell me you have a heat treatment process. I will have a customer requirement, I will feed you the requirement. मैं आऊँगा आपके पास. So I am your customer and I am the supplier of the end customer. So if anybody want to sell anywhere, you will sell only to me. उसका कारण है, देखिए मेरे 400 प्लांट है वर्ल्ड वाइड. अगर जर्मनी में मैं देखूं हर 50 किलोमीटर में मेरा प्लांट है, तो जर्मनी में हर बच्चे को पता होगा मदरसन है, कॉन्फिडेंस होगा. व्हेन ही इज बाइंग फ्रॉम मी, ही हैज दैट ट्रस्ट एलिमेंट. अब मैं कहाँ से ले रहा हूँ, दूसरा क्या है, जो इंडिया में कोई सप्लायर है उसको मैं मिलवा तो दूंगा, पर ही विल एक्सपीरियंस सेम प्रॉब्लम ना. इंश्योरेंस की प्रॉब्लम, टैक्स की प्रॉब्लम, लॉजिस्टिक की प्रॉब्लम, वो तो सेम प्रॉब्लम रहेगी. एज सिंपल एज दैट. नाउ व्हेन आई एम पिकिंग इट फ्रॉम हिज प्लांट, उसकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगी ना. जैसे आपके बच्चे स्कूल की बस आती है ना, बच्चे को लेके आपने बस में बिठा दिया और आपका पेरेंट्स निश्चिंत हो जाते हैं कि भाई ये बस पीले रंग की बस है, स्कूल की बस है, कोई टेंशन वाली बात नहीं है, बच्चे को स्कूल छोड़ेगी या घर से ले आएगी, आपको समस्या खत्म. आपने देखा कोई पेरेंट मेरे जैसा तो ठीक है, फिर भी चला जाता बस के पीछे, देखता बस जा रही नहीं जा रही. आई एम लिटिल बिट सिनिकी ऑन दैट, बट स्टिल पेरेंट्स डोंट गो बिहाइंड द बस, इजंट इट. सो व्हाट आई एम डूइंग इज, आपका टूल मैंने आपके प्लांट से उठाया, उसके बाद आपको पैसे मिल गए, आपको कुछ नहीं लेना देना. खराब बना तो ऑब्वियसली आपसे पैसे वापस लूंगा. दूसरा इसमें बेनिफिट क्या है कि जो इंडियन सप्लायर है, कंपनी है, अब जो बाहर बेचते हैं ना, उसकी वर्किंग कैपिटल बिकम वेरी वेरी प्रॉब्लमेटिक. उसकी पेमेंट पहले वो शिप में दो महीने शिप में चला गया, उसके 90 डेज 120 डेज बाद पेमेंट आएगी. उसके जो रॉ मटेरियल वो 6-9 महीने पहले रॉ मटेरियल की इन्वेंट्री लेके बैठा हुआ है, साल भर की वर्किंग कैपिटल तो खत्म हो गई. आपको मार्जिन दे रहे हो 5%, तो वर्किंग कैपिटल में उसके 15% लगे, कहाँ से पैसा बनाएगा.
So this point that you mentioned, so let's say if a tool room wants to get listed on your platform,
Yes.
they got listed, you give them orders and then they service that order, and you service that order. So basically you are also bringing in the orders and you're also serving the order to your end customer. That's the
exactly
that's the basic business.
देखिए उसमें दो तरफ का, इसमें दो बेनिफिट होते हैं. आप जो कंपनी, आप जो सर्विस, आपको भी पता मदरसन ले रही है, मेरे को टेंशन नहीं पेमेंट की, मुझे 6 लोगों के पास नहीं जाना. दूसरी बात है, आपको कस्टमर एक्विजिशन एक ही करना है मदरसन, और मैं तो कस्टमर एक्विजिशन क्या, आपको सिर्फ पोर्टल में एंटर करना है, हो गया कस्टमर एक्वायर. मैं कहीं का भी दुनिया का कस्टमर ला के दूंगा ना आपको, अगर आपके पास, अगर इफ यू हैव द राइट सेटअप, आई विल डू इट.
Got it. So I think, very interesting proposition. I'm sure the tool rooms and the tool makers here would be very interested to get into the details of it.
एक चीज और, लॉजिस्टिक का जो मैं सुबह ही पॉइंट बोला था, जस्ट टू रिपीटेशन, आई विल रिपीट इट बिकॉज नाउ देयर इज ए चैट थिंग, आई हैव टाइम टू डू, सो आई थिंक आई कैन रिपीट इट. सो लॉजिस्टिक बिकम्स ए वेरी बिग इशू. 10-15% अगर और खास, और कई बार क्या होता है, कस्टमर कहता है मेरा पीपअप भी अपने प्लांट में कर दो. बहुत सारे टूल रूम में इंडिया में पीपअप के लिए फैसिलिटी नहीं होगी, क्योंकि आपके पास है अपना टूल रूम है, पर मोल्डिंग मशीन नहीं होगी ना आपके पास. उसने मोल्डिंग मशीन आपको 500 टन की चाहिए, 1000 टन की चाहिए, 2000 टन की चाहिए, नहीं होगी, कैसे कराओगे. अब वो कई बार कस्टमर क्या होता है, टूल नहीं उठाता वो, क्योंकि अगर वो टूल ले गया, वहाँ गड़बड़ हुई, देन हाउ विल वो रिपेयर, अगर वहाँ कराया जर्मनी में, बिल आपको करा तो आपका तो गई प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी. आप कैसे कराओगे पीपअप उसका? वो कैपेसिटी नहीं होगी आपका। मेरे पास पीपअप, मेरे इंडिया में 150 प्लांट है, मैं यहाँ पीपअप करा सकता हूँ बिफोर आई शिप इट एनीवेयर। सो वो सब जो चीज़ें देखिए, ये व्हेन यू ऐड ऑल दिस कंस्ट्रेंट्स ना, तो यू गेट रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू योर ग्रोथ। कस्टमर बोलेगा पीपअप करूंगा, आपके पास 500-1000 टन की मशीन है? नहीं है जी। आप टूल बना सकते हो 1000 टन की मशीन के लिए, बस हो पीपअप नहीं कर सकते।
No, I think very, very interesting proposition, and I mean, you've talked at length about the challenges, the solutions. Last word before we close this session. Any thoughts in terms of advice that you would want to give to the tool rooms for scaling up in future? I think apart from the fact that you mentioned, the first thing that you mentioned is that we need that categorization, but anything else that you would want to add?
Yeah, I think one advice, definitely try to look for partners. Either India, outside, try to get attached to somewhere. Okay. Because Arjun को भी उनको द्रोणाचार्य की जरूरत पड़ती है. I think we should understand that. Okay. Everybody needs somebody, a mentor. So I think small tool room should not try to keep their own way. कि मुझे अपना ही करना है, मुझे किसी से बात नहीं करनी, मुझे सब कुछ पता है. जैसे अभी somebody was saying, or my panelist right there. So actually we make connectors. So when you were talking connectors, I was getting emotional. Because we have a tool room who make connector for Motherson, our own connector. So that's like all that we're talking about. So I think what we look at is people need to understand other people are also knowledgeable. Knowledgeable, and that's why they're growing. And what he says rightly, that in China, if you tell them, that's why they bring the experts. Guys, you tell me what to do. You bring an expert and then you learn it. That's the most stupid thing you can do. You spending money and not using it. अगर तुम्हें पता था तो बुलाया क्यों? Why did you call them? So I think the point is we need to learn from each other, depend on each other, collaborate each other. Now the way we are growing, we have enough meat to eat. अभी हमारा देश गरीब नहीं है, 3.5 बिलियन की हमारी ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी है. We have enough to eat, so people enough to grow. Don't compete with the neighbor. Sometimes we have a mentality neighbor से झगड़ा करते रहते हैं. ये 7 वाला टूल रूम नहीं बनना चाहिए. इसको बिजनेस नहीं आ रहा है यार. इतने लाखों टूल रूम है वर्ल्ड में. Grow together, collaborate together, don't compete. Right now the mantra is don't compete, collaborate. And that's why in Unibuild, I'm selling parts to my direct competition. Because kahin na kahin se to he will buy na. Why not from me? Let me also make money from my competition.
No, I think that's a great mantra. It's time to collaborate. I think that's the key takeaway that we can take from this chat. Thank you very much, Mr. Aggarwal, for sharing your insights, sharing about this great initiative, Unibuild. I'm sure the tool rooms would look forward to leverage and take advantage of that.
Yeah, you can register there, connect me on the LinkedIn, and then you can, and Devrat, can you please stand up? Just a minute, I'll call him. Devrat, idhar aa ja. Because he will handle all of you, I can't handle them. Okay. So that's what I need to pass on this traffic to him. So Devrat is our global commodity head for tooling. Any tooling you want to sell or any material you want to buy, he's the guy. Okay? Okay. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aggarwal, for those enriching thoughts I would like to add here. And we'll request Mr. Ashutosh to please set center stage to felicitate him. Huge round of applause. These were the 3 fiery fireside chats. I hope our audience have enjoyed and they can have a fiery round of applause at the end of the 3 fireside chats.